Just to start, just the temperature kind of on the group. I know it can kind of feel heavy at times when you go through like a little stretch, but is it kind of about reinforcing just the fact that it's just a couple of games here at this point, and still a lot of good things going on?
Yeah, I think we all feel fine. I think obviously it's a game that you shouldn't lose, and we all know that, and we all have been around long enough to know that that's not acceptable, and you just get right back to it. You know, obviously take away what you need to from the game, but it's a long season, and we got another one tomorrow, so we just got to be better.
Well, and Daryl talked a little bit about predictability, and I know that's something that, the system-wise and just knowing where guys are going to be. Is that something that, comes with some conversation now, maybe just a little reset in terms of, where guys are expected to be or where you're expecting your teammates to be?
Yeah, I think it's more execution than anything. I think positionally, with the exception of a couple breakdowns, we've been pretty good. It's just got to execute plays, you got to finish plays, and then obviously we got to limit turnovers. But I think it's been enough games now that we're familiar and we should know the systems, and so I don't think that's an excuse. I think we just got to execute better and perform better.
What was the biggest adjustment for you going into Daryl Sutters' system just on the ice in terms of whether it's away from the puck or what to do when you have the puck? What was the biggest adaptation you had to incorporate?
There's not too many differences. The leagues, everyone plays pretty similar styles now. Obviously, he's a demanding coach, and rightfully so. He expects a lot from his players, and I think that's maybe the biggest difference is that you're expected to execute every single play, and that's it's a good bar to set for yourself, and ultimately a lot of us haven't quite been living up to it the past few games, and we just got to hit the reset and go from there.
Like, this team's been such a good third period team, even going back to last year. What has made you so good in the third period, and maybe what have you gotten away from in the last couple of games?
I think we're solid with the lead, without the lead in the third. I think you look at last year. I don't remember too many games where we had a lead in the third, and obviously having that result come about. But I think it's the fact that we keep the press, going to the other team. I think we stay offensive, stay on the forecheck, but still responsible. And obviously you look at last night, and the responsible part of that was not there. So we never sat back on leads, and we never gave in to deficits. And I think that it's still the same group, it's still the same philosophies, and we'll get back to it. It's just one game, and should just be a blip on the radar.
Even amidst all the line changes being done earlier this week, you're still paired with Michael Backlund, and even Daryl has mentioned that he'd like to keep you two together as long as he can. Can you describe what makes your pairing so effective?
I don't know. I think some guys you just mesh with pretty quickly, and I think Bax is one of those guys. He's an easy guy to play with. He plays a really good 200-foot game. He's reliable. I almost always know where he is on the ice, things like that. So obviously I think, I can speak for myself. I expect more on the offensive end for myself, and obviously, he's been pulling his weight there. But, I think defensively we play well together, and now it's just about tying the whole game together here and getting back to the way that we should be playing.
Just looking at scoring chances, though, and some opportunities. I mean, even last night, your line in particular had a few good looks. I mean, I know. Are you feeling like you're getting enough of those, and maybe that side of it will come, that offensive side with it?
I think last night was a good step in the right direction. I think I was a little frustrated with the lack of chances in the first week or couple weeks there, and then I think last night was more my game, more getting around the net. Probably could have had a couple. Maybe could have set up a couple. Just some games they don't go, and sometimes goalies make saves, and that's just the way it is. So I've always been at the philosophy that if you're getting the chances, they'll start to come. So it's something I can build off of and just get better from there.
Blake, we've kind of heard a steady stream of guys in the last week or so come out and talk about how they think they can play better. It seems like every guy we talk to isn't really satisfied with his personal game. Does that speak to the potential of this group a little bit?
Well, it's a good sign. You don't want guys to be satisfied at any point in the year, especially early in the year. I think you want players to believe that there's another level to get to, and I think the reason a lot of the guys feel that way is because guys have played at higher levels, whether it be last year or years prior, and know that they have a higher ceiling to get to, and I think that's the good part of this group is we're demanding of ourselves. Obviously, the staff's demanding, but it's got to come from within if it's actually gonna be changing. And fortunately, we got off to a good start, a little setback, and just get back to it, and we'll be all right.
I just want to circle back on what you were saying about Daryl's expectations. So he made a comment last night that Jonathan Huberdeau just needs to play with more speed. Can you describe what sort of, as a winger, playing with pace in his system means?
Can't speak to exactly what he's talking about, but I think within our system, it's expected when you get the puck, move your feet on first touch, things like that. Play a little more north-south versus east-west. But every player is different. Every player has a different blueprint for what makes them successful. So what works for me may be a little bit different for him, and vice versa. So, I think Johnny's one of the best players in the league, and I think he's going to just continue to get better and better as he settles into our system and into our team. And I think it's still early to be thinking too much about that.